Welcome back to Mended, episode 16. Marie?
Oh, boy. I knew that was coming.
Maddie.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Thanks
Finally.
for coming, dude.
Thank you. I feel so honored. I feel like, who the hell are you? You didn't even invite me on here. That's crazy.
I mean, we just had this long conversation with Damon about why I'm trying to steer away from power people, because it's like we can interview you guys at any time. Right. Anyone who works in this building, anyone who's affiliated with power, like you guys are down to like hop on at any time. So I've been trying to just, get some of the outside people, some people. And I was explaining to him, it's like not the best interview to sit across from somebody and interview somebody who I know their story in and out. I could rehearse your story. So to sit here and like interview you and ask you questions when I know the answers to them, it's not as raw and authentic. So I think that we can add a little bit of spice to today and talk about things like, obviously give a little bit of your background, where you were from, where you ended up, where you are today, and then we can add a little spice.
All right.
So where are you from?
So I grew up in a little town called Chelsea.
It's not a town.
I know, it's a city. I wanted to sound smart. Yeah, so I grew up in Chelsea, 2-parent household, 3 mean sisters. And yeah, kind of like the misfit of the family, so.
The little black sheep?
Yeah. I don't know about the black sheep, but yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I just felt not like I belonged. Like my sisters look different. I look different. I just never wanted what I had. I wanted to be different. I wanted to look like them. I didn't. I was the milkman's baby, and that's like now looking back, I feel like that was like where some of my insecurities started. And I know it's just like sisterly fun, right? So not mad at you guys for that if you guys are listening. But at the end of the day, like it sparked something in me to want to not be who I really was,
Mm-hmm.
So.
Trying to find your identity.
Yeah, like I don't know. They were like tall and I was like little. I was like the runt. And a lot of things happened to me during my childhood. Like my mom left me at the Dunkin' Donuts one time and then like she spilled a cup of a plate of hot soup on me by accident. But still, like all these things, like looking back, I felt like I was a target, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so they would use those things and say like, that's why mom doesn't love you. That's why she burned you with a plate of soup. And the reality is that she did it. It was an accident. But, looking back, I'm like, oh my God, she did do that. Yeah. And she left me at Dunkin' Donuts.
What about when you got meningitis?
So I got meningitis. I got meningitis when I was a baby. So my mom used to take me to Suffolk Downs, and at that point, you would smoke, and there was like all old people, and I got meningitis, and I got really sick, and I had an undeveloped lung when I was born. So
I know what I'm saying. Why'd that happen? You started off rough.
I know. Right. Yeah. So I don't know. Like a lot of doctors said that I wouldn't make it till I was 5. And then I just, really rough. And I was ugly. Really, really ugly. Like my baby pictures are terrible.
And your sisters were cute?
Yeah.
That sucks.
I know. I look like the baby Grinch.
I wish we could insert a baby picture of you at this point in the podcast. We got to learn how to do that.
Oh, well, whatever.
So what else? So that's why you started getting high?
No, I feel like, I don't know. I just try to change who I was all the time. Like I had curly hair. I wanted it to be straight. And I went to a vocational school in Wakefield, Mass. And like I just wanted to look like everybody, and I didn't. I had dark hair. They had light hair. I had dark eyes. They all had blue eyes. I just wanted to not be who I was. So I would straighten my hair. I would put in contacts. I would try to dye my hair. And if you've ever seen a Spanish girl dye their hair blonde, you know that that's a fucking disaster. Like I was walking around like a carrot top. Like it was so bad. And I just didn't fit in. And like no matter what I did, like I wasn't noticed. I wasn't popular. Like I just was like kind of just like, I don't know. It was rough.
Yeah. So your insecurity stemmed a lot from like the torture you endured from
and then also too like in high school, like so I was like I didn't know where I fit, so I started hanging around with these girls that were like known as the mean girls, and so I just fit in with them.
I could see that.
Yeah, I fit in with them. And then so we had like juniors that were like, you know, making fun of us and like screaming our names in the hallway, and they gave us all nicknames.
The mean girls?
Yeah. Well, the mean older girls gave us tag names. My nickname was Frieza because of my eyebrows.
Because they're always so up high.
Yeah, it's so crazy. I'm like, damn, I really do look like him. Yeah, it was just, but overall, like I did really well in school, and I like, you know, I graduated, and then I wanted to go to college, and then I got this like huge job opportunity. So I decided to do that. And like, I met a guy, everybody else, and he was nothing that I thought he was, you know, come to find out, fast forward to like 20 years later. But, and then like, I was like normal. I would go out and hang out and party and work and all that for a good 10 years of my life. And then I found opiates, and then I didn't know what I didn't know. I always had like, this misconception of like what addiction or alcoholism was. And, I compared myself to people like I'm not as bad as them, or I never did that, or I didn't have to do this for drugs or that for drugs, or you know what I mean, until I did. And then it was like, I don't know, I feel like in the beginning of my addiction it was for fun, and then towards the end, like, and it was really, really quick.
Yeah, it was at the end. It was for survival.
Yeah, and it was super quick. Like, you know, we hear stories of like people going, "Oh my God, I used for 20 years." I used for fucking 4.5, and I look like death, and I smelled like death, and like I just admire actually those people, to be honest, that can survive that long. Because I remember being homeless for like one day, and I slept on a dead cat, and I was like, "Fuck this! I need to go to detox." And like at the end, towards my end of my using, like I had nothing. I was probably 95 pounds, wrinkly, old. I looked at myself, and like that's like one of my biggest fears is to like look old. And I looked old, and I started crying, and my mom's like, "Oh my God, you're so shallow," and like, call me shallow, whatever. But that was one of my biggest fears. And I was just like, all right, I'm going to go into treatment because I don't want to be old and wrinkly.
It wasn't sleeping on the dead cat. It was you looking in the mirror.
It was so ugly. It was so ugly. Yeah, it was really, really sad. And I would wear like long sleeve shirts in the summer because I was so skinny. And I've always been skinny, but I was like extra skinny at this point. And my head was big. You know, my head didn't shrink. You know what I mean? So I just looked like a bobblehead. And so my sister actually bought me a bobblehead, God rest her soul. And she's like, "Look at Maddie." And I'm like, "This bitch."
She's still going. All these years later, still talking shit.
Yeah, unbelievable. So, I don't know. It was like definitely eye-opening for me. And like obviously in the midst of that, I had kids, and you know, we don't want to go down that route because I don't want to cry on here. But yeah, it was rough. And so, but not anymore, right?
No.
Here I am. I'm almost 7 years clean, so I'm really proud of that. And I just feel like I have so much more to accomplish. You know, this is for me like just the beginning. Like life is just starting to get good.
At what point when you got sober did it start feeling like, okay, like this is real life now, and like this is my new identity. I am like the new healed version of myself, and like really felt like a human again?
So I don't know. I definitely know that there was like a turning point for my recovery where I started to like actually listen to people that had the best interest at heart. I just didn't believe it at first. I feel like my first year of recovery was really, really difficult. Hold on. Can I get that? I'm just going to eliminate that. Okay. Are you going to cut that out? I hope.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I feel like my first year of recovery was really, really difficult, and I was still in survival mode. I feel like I started to like finally feel normal when I like got rid of my get well job, and I was still in like sober living, and and to be honest with you, like I felt like I was living a lie because the people that I worked with, they didn't know I was in recovery, right? So on the weekends when they would want to go hang out, they'd be like, oh, come with us. We're going to Outback Steakhouse, or we're going here, we're going there. And they'd be like, oh, here's a drink. And I'm like, oh, I can't. Like I would just, they're like, what are you, pregnant? And I would just be like, oh, I'm not really sure. Like, you know, so I was still like lying at that point. So I don't know, maybe when I stopped working for that company is when I first started to probably feel a little normal.
Yeah, and identify with like the new version of yourself.
Like, because I was still not lying. I wouldn't say I was lying to people, but
not
I
like
just
in full acceptance.
right. And I remember some kid driving me to work, and like he picked me up in Lynn, and he drove me to work, and he opened the trunk, and it was my 1 year, right? And he had a balloon and a cake. And I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to go to work with a fucking 1 year balloon and a cake? Like, what am I supposed to say? So my boss, who was in there, he was like, is it your birthday? I'm like, oh, it's my son's birthday. And it really was. So, but he was 2 at the time, but I had a year clean. So I was lying, but I wasn't lying. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like a lot to keep up with. Like, who knew, who didn't know? And like just trying to keep that going for a little bit until I just finally broke, because he ended up getting an OUI. So he finally got an OUI. Well, oh, wait.
Good.
This way?
Yeah.
Oh, you can hear it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not like this.
So I don't want the part that says finally got an IUI, because that's crazy.
She's like fixated on the fact that we could delete things.
Okay. That sounds stupid.
Do you think he's going to see this episode?
No. No. No, so I was able to open up to him when he ended up getting an OUI. And I knew exactly what to do. And I knew the actual probation officer that he was dealing with. So that's how we were able to connect on that. Like, I was able to share, because he actually had some questions regarding urine analysis. And I was able to, like, tell him where to go. And he just looked at me, like, with such curiosity, like, how do you know
all
this stuff?
Yeah.
So I had to
Do you think it was just like the embarrassment or the stigma of why you wouldn't?
So honestly, I'm going to say it's both, right? So I was hired as an assistant manager, right? And I'm 30, I don't even know, 35, 4, I don't know, something like that. Middle-aged or whatever it is. What am I? Middle-aged?
Semi still.
Semi-middle-aged, whatever. And he was a lot younger than me. So I don't know if I want to say it's embarrassment or if it was just like I didn't want to be judged. And which is why anytime I do start a job that has nothing to do with recovery, I don't ever want to tell them, because I feel like I'm automatically judged. So I kind of wanted my worth ethic to judge itself, if in another sense.
Can you hear her?
Yeah, I know. She's holding it very weird, but for some reason it's...
Hold it. Talk above.
Yeah, but you're doing it like this, so am I supposed to do it like this?
Yeah, basically.
No,
hold it
just
like
hold
that.
it to the side.
Like this?
Okay, so where were we? You're bad at this.
I don't know. You have to ask me another question. I can keep talking.
It's distracting with all the fucking...
You were talking about being, like, having a job that's not in recovery.
Okay.
Yeah, so anytime you get a job that's not in recovery, you don't like to tell them that you're an addict.
Yeah, and again, it solely relies on, I don't know if it's a little bit of embarrassment, but I feel like the majority of it is because I feel like I'm going to be judged.
Yeah.
So I want my work to be able to speak for itself, and then I'll say, oh, by the way, I'm in recovery.
Yeah, it's the stigma.
Yeah.
The fear of the stigma.
Yeah, I would say so.
Can we talk about Project Cope a little bit and how that was a huge piece of your recovery?
Yeah, so before Project Cope, I was at Mattapan Transitions. I remember going there and I was like, all right, I'm going to be here for like whatever. I always had a timeline on everything I did. I'm like, all right, I need to get somewhere in 30 days. So my application in for Project Cope was put in as postpartum.
Can you explain what Project Cope is?
Project Cope is a halfway house for women located in Lynn.
It's one of the hardest in the state.
It's so hard. Yeah. So it's behavior modification. I know that we've talked about like TCs and stuff. It's not. It's a behavior modification program where they build you up to break you down to build you up. Yeah. But anyways, I was at Middlesex. I hope he's going to edit all this.
He's not going to. You have to fuck up and go through it.
Oh my God. All right, so I was at Mattapan Transitions, and I remember getting there sometime in December of 2018, and I was horrified. I'd never been there before. And I remember calling my parents and asking for a mattress and all this other stuff. Like, I was like, I don't know where the fuck I thought I was going. Like, seriously. But
anyways, entitlement.
Oh my God, it was so bad. I went to Cope, and I just remember walking in, and the only person that I knew there was the facilitator. I was so embarrassed.
Why? Because you knew her?
Well, because she used to run groups in multiple facilities, and she happened to be running groups at Transitions as well. So I walked in, and I see her, and she used to say, "Attention, group." So when I walk in, so there's like this door, and you open the door, and everybody just stares at you, and you're looking at 25 women who are like, you know, again, I don't know where I'm going. And I've been to a halfway house before, right? So it's not like I'm like, oh my God, it's sticker shock. I have no idea. But for whatever reason, I have standards, even when I'm using. So I'm like, I remember getting a tour, and I was just like, which one's my bed? And I was in a 4-man, and I was, I was complaining about that. I was complaining about the food. I was complaining about everything. One of the things that I hated about that program, and I'm so grateful for that program, it definitely saved my life. But one of the things that I hated was like asking to go into the kitchen. Because for me, it's like, how is that going to help me?
How does that warrant permission?
How is that going to help me in the long run, you know?
And this is still at Mattapan Transitions?
No, I'm sorry. I transitioned over to Cope now at this point. And you have to ask for permission to do anything. So I'm like, kitchen, can I go into the kitchen? They're like, for what? To get something that belongs in the kitchen. Like, I was just like, so I just remember getting a lot of learning experiences. And then how they do it is on Thursdays, well, when I was there, on Thursdays, you would go around and you would read your LEs. If you got 3 LEs, you would end up on reflection.
What's an LE?
An LE is a learning experience, so somebody writes you up. So it's a peer-led house, so people write you up, right? If you leave your stuff around, if you don't sign off the floor, if you take too many phone calls, if you don't do your chore, like all these things, right? So anyway, on Thursdays, we all sit around and we have to read our learning experiences. And so you read it, and if the facilitator of the group, because I used to write my LEs, and I used to be like, well, I don't really feel like this is my fault, but I'm going to do this because you're telling me to do this. And I always had that attitude, so I always ended up with a reflection the next day. And the reflection was Friday.
And you have to sit there, right?
Yeah, you have to sit there, and you can't go anywhere. So if there's like big sis, little sis, which is where the peers, the older peers take, well, not the older peers, the senior peers that have been in the house for a while will take the younger peers out. You have to miss that. You have to miss a meeting. Like, you have to, it's like an all day.
Punishment.
Yeah, it's a punishment. And no phone calls or anything like that. So I found myself on reflection a lot of the times. I found myself, or the whole house on reflection. When the whole house goes on reflection, that's like when like everybody's behaviors are out of control. So they shut down the house. And when they shut down the house, like no visitors can come in, no drop-offs, no phone calls, no nothing. So here I am in this program. Like, I don't have a cell phone, right? I think I was working by this point, so I feel like there was a turning point for me in that program, and it was like once I started to work and be able to go out, I don't know, there was like a full acceptance, I feel like, because I kept on saying like, oh, I'll just be there for this, or I'll just be here for this amount of time, like, again, putting timelines on my recovery. And then like so many things happen in that program, and I don't even know how I was able to get through it in 6 months. Because you would think that, I was there for like a year with the amount of trauma that I had in that program. But I feel like if these things had happened and I was somewhere else, I 1,000% would have went back out. So I'm really, really grateful for that program, as hard as it was. I always tell the girls that are there, like, stick it out. I know it sounds dumb, like why you have to ask for permission to go into the kitchen, but there's a reason for their madness. There really is.
And
I haven't
it
figured it out, but
that's what I'm saying, and it works.
Right. Yeah. And I just remember, being there. And so the other thing is, right, with the cell phone. So I worked at Dunks, right? And there was a girl, and she was just like, hey, I have a cell phone. You want it? And I had a locker at work. So all of me wanted to do the wrong thing because I deviated and I talked to people that I shouldn't have talked to when I was in that program. I wasn't a perfect little client. I'd love to say that I was, but I wasn't. So she offered me a cell phone. And then all I had to do was get a SIM card, right? And so all of me wanted to do it, but all of me wanted to do the right thing and like the real right thing. Like, because they used to say like, who are you when no one's looking, you know? So that stuck by me. And like, thank God, right, that I didn't do that, fall into that trap, because had I got the cell phone, I would have found out via Facebook that my sister had passed away before the program was able to tell me. And how was I going to explain that? Because I would have not went home, you know? Like, they had sent a case manager to come get me, which nobody comes to get you. It's a walking program. You walk everywhere. So it was just such a weird day when that happened. Like, they came to come pick me up. And I had just recently heard that the court had terminated my rights on my smallest child. So I felt that they were like just giving me extra support is what I felt like, you know? So nothing felt like out of the ordinary. And then I just remember the ride to the program was like 5 minutes, and she was completely silent. Like, she didn't say anything. She didn't look at me, and it was my case manager. And I was like, you know, I opened up to her and told her a lot of things. So I was just like, this is so weird. I get home and she's like, you used to have like an hour or so to go upstairs after you get out of work and change and whatever. And we were going to see fireworks that night. So she's like, hurry up. I was like, hurry up. I have an hour. Like, I'm going to go take a nap for 30 minutes and then go take a shower. So she's like, no, you really need to hurry up. So I was like, okay. So I'm rushing, whatever. And the doorbell rings, and I'm walking down the stairs, and somebody has to open it, like the house manager or whatever it's called. I forget. And it's my sister and my dad. And it was like I remember my sister had like huge sunglasses on. My father had sunglasses on, and I had no idea. And I know that my mom was struggling a little bit with some cancer scares. So I immediately thought that something happened to my mom with like my sister's face. My sister's face was blank. Like, she had no expression. And so they took me up into this room, and like 3 of them are in there, and no one's talking, and it's fucking weird. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Is somebody going to say something? And I think the program director was the one that said it. She's like, hey, your sister passed away. I was like, what? She was just like, I was just like, and the fucked up part about it is, and I hate that I even have to admit this, but she had called like the week before. And so I only got 4 phone calls. And I didn't take that call because I was wanting to make a call to someone else. So like, I think about that all the time, and I'm just like, oh my God, what could I have said to her? Because I know when she came to the program, she looked off. My mom couldn't really tell. But she had like these really thick eyebrows, and she wasn't like a thick eyebrow girl. So I feel like she was under the influence. I don't know. I could be wrong. But yeah, so I just remember that day, and I remember the amount of support that I was able to receive. And then like, I was supposed to complete in August, and they didn't complete me. They thought that I wasn't ready. I had asked them
because she passed in July. Or?
Yeah, so she passed July 3rd. I think it was like the 1st, but they officially found her the 2nd at night, and then so they declared it the 3rd because that's when she was found. And yeah, so they kept me longer, and then they recommended sober living because I had no desire.
Thinking back from now to then, do you think you needed more time, that they were right in their decision?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%, because I didn't even want to do anything on my own. I was afraid. I was a phase 3 at that point, and now phase 3 you can get passes. You level up like 8 hours, 12 hours, 16. Then you get a 24. Then you get a 48 and a 72 hour. And I didn't want to do that.
You didn't trust yourself?
I didn't trust myself. I'll be 100% honest. I did not trust myself. And my first pass, honestly, like I already had it in my mind of what I was actually going to do. My sister had my case manager on speed dial, and she was like, nope, you're not going there, because if you go there, I'm calling her. And I'm like, are you serious? You're going to get me kicked out of the program? She's like, no, you're going to get yourself kicked out. I had no accountability. I still thought that if I do this and you tell on me, it's your fault that I got kicked out because you told on me, instead of just owning the fact that I'm not supposed to be where I'm supposed to be.
Right.
Even though I got caught. I updated my Facebook status like an idiot.
Oh my God.
And I had the same nails.
You're so dumb.
I am so dumb. Yeah. They were like, why are you with so-and-so? And I was like, what are you talking about? And I couldn't figure out how they figured it out. And they figured it out because when you go out. The same
way we figure out when people are lying to us now.
Right. But Facebook was so foreign to me. I had been without a phone for so long. So the first thing that you do is when you're able to get a phone, you
update your status.
Yeah, sorry. I'm so sorry.
It happens.
Yeah, and I had the same kind of nails that I had in the picture. Yeah, so it was hard for me to lie to get out of that one. But they pulled my pass because they knew I was lying. And even though at the time, like I would tell you something with the full belief that what I was telling you was the truth. Even at that point, I was almost, I don't know, 8 months clean at the time, still lying.
Yeah, your behaviors don't go away for
It was horrible, yeah. So, I don't know. I'll be honest, I didn't really have a lot of faith in myself. So they had suggested that I go to sober living. And I was like, no, I've been to sober living before. And all I do is more research. And I was like,
you were
I'm
definitely
done.
one of those like people in early recovery that just fucking argues every suggestion that's given.
Everything. Yeah.
Every suggestion.
Yep.
You're like, nope.
Yep. And I had been to sober living before, and I know where it brought me. And I didn't think that it worked. But I didn't realize at the time that it had nothing to do with those sober houses. Those sober houses were probably great. I was
you.
not ready.
Yeah.
And I always use the fact that I'm like, I used for 8 months in that house, and there is no way possible that you think that I'm clean. I am 95 pounds. I look like a light bulb. I'm yellow. I haven't showered in 3 days, and you think that I'm clean? I just look back at that, and I'm like, how did they not know?
Especially now as like an operator.
Yeah. I'm like, how did they not know? My behaviors had completely changed from the moment that I walked in to the moment to like 2 months later. Once I figured out that I could start using at that house, I was just like, okay, I'm going to start using. And it went on for months. And immediately, like somebody, like I'm a type of person that if I start using tomorrow, in a week, you'll know. Immediately. I'll drop 10 pounds. I'll probably lose a tooth. Like, like I'm a dead giveaway, you know? So I was just shocked that they couldn't figure it out. But going back to sober living, like no, that it was a hard no for me. I was like, nope, I'm going to go right back to my mother's 1-bedroom apartment.
And she was going to allow that?
Yeah. My mom was an enabler. And she probably was. And I think she was getting a 2-bedroom at the time. So I'm like, all right.
Money in the bank.
Yeah, look, I'm good. But somehow they convinced me. They convinced my mom. Well, they convinced my sister to convince my mom. And I remember telling her the name of the house that I was going to. And my mother had a fucking panic attack. Because she did not want me back in Chelsea. She just didn't want me back in Chelsea. I'm like, no, it's in Lynn. It's in Lynn. And so...
shout out to Chelsea for you being one of their first door knocks.
No, literally. Right?
Did you know that about her, Dave?
Yeah.
I told you I could rehearse your whole story.
Yeah.
She was one of the first door knocks that the police started doing in Chelsea when they started doing door knocks after overdoses.
Yep. And it's crazy because the police officer that started that program literally seen me at the overdose vigil. I think it was like last year's or the year before.
I think I was with you and they
he pulled me aside and he's like, you know that you were our first door knock? I didn't even know that. I had no idea.
She used to overdose all the time.
Yeah, all over the city. I know. Horrible. But
still had standards. Don't forget the standards that you still had in the midst of all the overdoses.
It was so bad. I was delusional. But the craziest part is that the moment that the paramedics would get there, I would wake up. I'd be like, nope, no need for me to go. I'm not going. They're like, you're going or you're going to jail. And I'm like, for what?
Yeah,
it's not illegal to use.
Well, because at that time, you still had to be transported no matter how many, like, even if you were Narcan once, right?
Yes.
They don't do that anymore, right?
I don't think so.
I think they can, I think
well, in 2016, it went from heroin to fentanyl, which is why I was overdosing every single time I used. And it scared the shit out of me. So I just figured I'd just switch drugs because, you know.
Yeah.
I was scared to die.
The smart addict thing to do.
I was afraid to die. Like, no, thank you. Yeah. Sober living was brutal. I did sober living for a really long time.
Yeah, but it was helpful.
Oh, my God, so helpful.
It literally paved the way for you.
It literally saved my life. And I'll never forget that bubbly little house manager who's my so good friend. Shout out to you, Jess. Love you. Who literally, I feel like, kept me there because I had no desire. I felt like I was going to go there and be like, do good, okay, for a little bit and like try to fool my parents to make it seem like I was okay. And then immediately get high. But something about her, I didn't want to let her down.
She's an angel.
She is. She really is. And you know exactly who it is. So, yeah, she sat on my bed and I was so tired from cope because you can't sleep until like 10 o'clock at night. And I was like, I just want to make my bed and go to bed. Like, I'm tired. She's like, oh, no, we're going to a meeting. You have to come. And I'm
you made your bed at that point?
Yes. Yeah, you got to make your bed every day. Every day. It's so funny because I literally texted Dom this morning and I go, I don't think I made the bed. I don't remember making the bed. He's like, messy head.
No, messy bed, messy
Whatever.
head.
I don't know. I always fuck that up. But yeah. So, yep.
That's an NA slogan, right?
That is definitely an NA slogan. Yeah. Yeah. What
so,
else?
what do you feel has been your biggest accomplishment since being sober in the last 7 years? Like, what has been your absolute biggest accomplishment?
Getting my son back.
Shout out to Isaiah.
Yeah, shout out to Isaiah. Love you, boy. Yeah, it was something that's impossible, right? So adoption, we all know, is irreversible in Massachusetts. And, like, I didn't get him, like, legally, like, paper-wise, but that doesn't...
He found his way back to you.
Yeah, at that, like, when it was happening, I was upset about it because I wanted it to be on paper. Like, who removed somebody off a birth certificate? That's ridiculous. We're not going to go there. But, so, when it happened... and it wasn't on paper, it almost felt like a slap. But it felt so, like, natural to have to go back to him. And, you know, he was 15 or 16 at the time, 15. And, you know, he was dealing with his own mental health issues. And so, like, he doesn't come with a book. And you know him. And he's so, like, articulate, and he knows how to, like, express himself well. And so, I don't know. I just went from living in sober living in an apartment, living at your house, to then living with my son in, like, the matter of, like, a blink of an eye. And I didn't even have time to process what was actually happening.
Yeah.
And all while my mom was sick. You know what I mean? So I didn't really have time to, like, think about it. Like, I remember calling you and being like, hey, this is happening. And you're like, all right, you got to go, like, without hesitation, you know? And that's what we did. So that's my biggest accomplishment. I love that little boy. Yeah, period.
Yeah, it's definitely top tier.
Yeah.
It was top tier to watch.
Right, yeah.
Who are you outside of your identity as a person in recovery? Outside of your identity with work and the help that you give on a day-to-day basis, who are you as a person?
I'm just, like, I just want to say that I am, like, a regular human being. First of all, I struggled with this question. Like, if you would have asked me a couple of years ago, I probably wouldn't have had an answer for you. But today I know that I am someone's daughter. I'm someone's mom. I'm someone's going to be wife. I'm someone's friend. I'm just overall, like, I feel like a lot of the times I'm misunderstood a little bit. But at the same time, like, I just want to be better than I was yesterday. That's all. Regardless of any titles that I hold or anything that I do for work or anything that I do outside of, like, being an NA member or just in general. You know what I mean? I just want to be better than I was yesterday. That's it. Like, real simple.
Yeah, that's all it takes sometimes. It's just the simple things in life.
Right.
That's how I identify. It's just I'm like, most of the time I'm just a mom.
Right.
It's just how you identify. What do you say? What do you say to people who associate you with drama?
I would say everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Sometimes things need to be said. I need to remember that it doesn't always have to be said by me. And I feel like all I want to do is help people. So I never want people to get the misconception that I'm, like, trying to be a mean girl, right? But at the end of the day, like, there's strong beliefs that I hold that I'm going to stand on, regardless of what people's opinion. So they can say that it's drama. I feel like it's standing my ground. And people's opinions about it are different. It is what it is. I'm just going to help the next person. And no matter who it is, right? Because if that person that I have drama with is calling me for help, I'm going to help them no matter what. So is what it is.
I feel like you're really good at being, like, called on shit too. So, like, even if, like, you make mistakes and make decisions and things like that, if you have, like, the support around you and the people around you that are going to call you on your shit when you're on your shit, that's what matters, because it's the only way you're going to be able to, like, fix your character defects or grow from things, to have the people around you to be able to call you on your shit. Like, I need to be called on my shit a lot of the times. I need people to tell me when I'm being a vicious cunt, or when I'm being, like, completely unrealistic about a situation, or when I'm like, are we going to have to edit that out?
What?
Vicious cunt.
Yeah.
No.
All right.
I'll do it.
But yeah, I don't know. I figured we could just get into I feel like everyone in the recovery community has heard your story. So just getting into some of the the topics of conversation that we all hear, because we hear shit about ourselves. Like everyone has opinions on us all the time. We hear shit about ourselves all the time. I hear shit about you. You hear shit about me. Like, so I don't know, creating a space where you can talk about your perception of how people see you or how you've heard that people see you.
So from my perspective, it's either you love or you hate me. I don't find anybody who's in between. And it is what it is, right? So years ago, again, I would have probably been fumbling on the fact that people don't like me.
Well, because then again, it stems from your childhood, because
Right.
you don't want to say the black sheep, but like what you described was the black sheep as a child.
Yep.
So you were the black sheep as a child in your family. So even that shit bleeds into adulthood. So like if you get wind that somebody doesn't like you, you're going back to that little version of yourself that was like, that felt left out with your siblings.
Yeah, and a lot of that, so I'm extremely codependent, right? So a lot of that stems from that as well, right? I want everybody to love me. And I understand now today that that's an unrealistic expectation, right? But at the end of the day, as long as I know what I'm working with as far as like what I'm actually doing, like what my intentions are for a situation at any given point, I'm always going to feel like I'm right, right? Until you call me out and you're like, you were an idiot, or somebody else, or my sponsor, or somebody else calls me out and goes, take that down, or whatever the case is. And I appreciate it, because at the end of the day, I'm not perfect, right? The thing is, I'm in a spotlight of where everybody expects me to be perfect, and that's unrealistic, because I'm not, and I'm not. And I remember my two bosses telling me, shout out to you guys, that they used to tell me like, are you ready for this? And I didn't really know what they meant. I was just like, what? I was like, yeah, I'm ready. Like, yeah, let's do this. But what they ultimately meant is that people's opinions were going to form, and like I had to be ready to accept them,
and
no matter what.
You're going to be held to a certain expectation, a certain standard.
Yeah.
As a person in recovery.
Right.
Because you're helping, because you're guiding other people in recovery. So you have to be on your shit at all times.
Yeah. And the other thing too is when some of the things that have happened in the past for me is like, I don't want the people that look up to me to be able to see that. Right? Because at the end of the day, like they look up to me for a reason. But at the same time, if I don't show my raw, authentic self to people, then who am I really? You know what I mean? So I feel like it's important for people to understand that. Hold on. Does my hair look crazy? Because I feel my extension is like coming out.
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah, you look great.
Look at it.
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Should I put it back?
No.
Okay. I was like, oh my God, if my extension's flapping, I'm going to be pissed.
No.
All right. I don't know where I was at.
I don't either. This literally, we're going to leave that on because this sums up. No. No, because this sums up who you are as a person and how incredibly fucking stupid you can be. And I think that it like literally portrays you.
Well, because my extension was flapping?
No, because like you just...
I actually relate a lot. I'll be like in depth in a conversation. I'll be saying something and then all of a sudden just, wait a minute. Did I do something today? What did I do today?
No one's actually ever hit their fucking vape on the show either.
That's not true.
Who?
He did. I literally asked him. So yeah, I was respectful.
I've never seen anyone vape yet. I wasn't paying attention to you. You were pissing me the fuck off.
Where we're at. You have to go
That
for another question.
No,
quickly.
that you make mistakes and that it doesn't. In order for people to see who you are and how you grow, people have to see your mistakes. They have to see your authenticity. Authenticity.
She's trying to sound smart. Okay, so yeah, so at the end of the day, right? People make mistakes and they learn from them. I don't want them to make the mistakes, so I'll just make them for them. You know what I mean? That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, that's a good way to make an excuse for your bad behavior.
My sponsor would say something like that. Yep.
Like,
Yep. I don't know.
whatever. How do you find validation these days?
Myself. It's great. It's the best thing ever. So a couple of years ago, I was having a conversation with a woman in recovery. Shout out to you. I don't want to like list names, but I was having a conversation with her and she was like, you are codependent. I'm like, what? No, I'm independent. What are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about. And it was definitely a turning point because I had never been told that. And I didn't even know what the definition of codependency was until actually last week. I've been doing coda for 3 years, and I actually fully understood what it meant. But that's one of them, is like being able to validate myself. I don't need to no longer seek validation from anybody, not a person of an opposite sex, not my parents, not my sisters, not my siblings, nothing. Myself. I can validate myself because I know that when I go home at night and I lay down, I can go to bed immediately. Like I just lay down on my pillow and 5 minutes later I'm sleeping because I genuinely try to be a good person all day long. And I don't need somebody to be like, oh, you're doing such a good job. I'm like, oh, I'm so proud of you. It's nice to hear, right? Don't get me wrong. That is nice. But I'm proud of myself. So why do I need to feel bad about myself because I'm not hearing it from other people? You know what I mean? Yeah. I need you to edit that. I'm like picking my nose.
If you say edit one more time in this fucking episode, I'm going to put myself through a wall.
No, dude, it's bad.
Shut up with both the editing.
Okay.
Dude.
All right.
This is a fucking disastrous decision to allow her on the show today.
I'm not going to edit out a single thing.
He's not going to because of how many times you fax.
Oh, boy. That's good.
Anyway, what else? What else do you want to talk about? What else do you want to tell?
I want to talk
people
about when you first met me.
Oh, I fucking couldn't stand you.
Imagine. That's terrible.
Dude, I couldn't stand you. You were such a greasy little fucking chicken wing licking fucking snob. That's exactly what you were. Ugh. Fucking still sucks on wingdings to this day.
I have no idea why I was even here. It was a training.
It was a training.
For what?
I don't know, something that you had nothing to do with.
Nothing.
Like, you always show up here when it comes to things that like you don't even have anything to do with.
You don't even go here.
I can't stand you when you walk through the doors of this fucking place.
I know.
Yeah, no, I was like, it was my first day here. No, it was like my first week here, and I was like sitting down to learn how to like be a tech, like an RS or whatever, and run groups and put in notes and whatever. It was like some type of Kipu.
Oh, it was Kipu.
Yeah,
it was a Kipu training.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Some type of Kipu training, and I was like, oh, it was myself, the other girl that was hired with me, the person who was doing the training, and then all of a sudden you come in fucking late, mad disrespectful, keys jingling like a fucking janitor, a box of wingdings, and you just start eating it like right in front of us. First of all, we're starving. Like we didn't get to eat lunch.
Oh, you were mad that I didn't give you any?
No, because I didn't know you. I wouldn't have touched your fucking food. You know me. And you were just like so fucking snobby. Like I can see that you were the mean girl in high school because you give off that mean girl like energy sometimes. And if someone doesn't know you, they would think that like, ugh, this girl is a fucking snobby bitch. Until you open up your mouth and then you're just stupid and bubbly and like messy. And
it's funny because I heard in one of my celebrations, like I think there was like 3 or 4 girls that shared, and they all had that same
impression of you.
I was like, oh my God, that's so bad.
No, because I get it a lot too. I get that I'm like unapproachable. I get that like I carry myself in a way that like, you know, gives off don't bother me or don't ask me for shit, when really everyone knows who knows me knows that I'm like, I'd do anything for anyone. So I can relate to it. I've just never seen myself in that light where I was able to like see you in that light. And then I think it was like you called me, I can't even say this on the podcast like what you called me about, but like I showed up and I was like, oh, I got that. Like it was just that from there it was like, yeah, we're locked in now.
Yeah, well, I didn't have that impression about you,
which is weird.
I know, I didn't. I just saw a really pretty girl and I was just like, she wants to work here? Why? I was really, really confused. I was like, but I don't know, I didn't see that. You were like kind of like shy. You really didn't talk to me, but then now I know it's because you didn't like me. So
yeah, I'm like that with anybody though, even if I like you or not, or if when I first meet you, I'm guarded 100%.
Can I hold it like this?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because my arm hurts.
That's okay. We're almost done.
Oh, good.
This is fucking top 2. She's now in second place for the worst podcast episode I've ever done. It's you and her. 1 and 2.
Am I still worse?
You're still worse. You're 1. She's 2.
Why am I 2? I think this is going pretty good.
How many times have you said, can we edit that?
Because I look like an idiot. I don't want to look like an idiot.
this is who you are.
I know, but yeah. So I feel like you go through your whole life seeking validation from others, and to be able to self-validate is like the biggest blessing. But it's also a curse. It's a curse because I spent like a year and a half single.
I was gonna say, when you said it, I was gonna be like, it can be real dangerous, but I didn't want to get Dom
Yeah,
nervous.
yeah.
I
It,
didn't
it
wanna
could
do
be
that.
because at the end of the day, like I'm independent. I pay my own bills. I don't need anybody, and I don't need somebody to tell me I'm beautiful. And now when Dom tells me I'm beautiful, I melt because I'm like, oh, that's so
no,
nice.
but
I'm like,
then-
I look so ugly, but okay.
But then it gets to a point where it's like you don't like. It becomes dangerous because you don't need anyone,
Right.
but yourself.
Right.
Like you genuinely don't need a soul.
Yeah.
And like the minute somebody starts, mistreating you, even if it's something that can be worked through, you're like,
I'm done.
yeah. You're in
Yeah.
like, because
Yeah.
you have no need for the validation anymore. You don't have any tolerance for anything.
Yeah.
And that's like where I am a lot of the time in my life, where I'm like, you're cut off, you're cut off, you're cut off. Like, because I'm so fucking good with myself that like, and I've worked really hard to get here too. Like, obviously not as hard as somebody who's overcome addiction or whatever, but we've all overcome things. So it's like, I don't need that. You don't need that. So you do have to like reel yourself back in sometimes to be like, okay, this isn't even a matter of validation. This is like a matter of like, this person loves me. I have to be more patient.
Yeah, well, for me, I always see how you navigate through things like that. And I know that you tell me a lot of the times, like, that person is out of your life for a reason. And you continuously tell me that, like, all the time. I'm like, but they're still texting me and I still want to. And you're like, dude, just, like, let it go. I have, like, a hard time doing that. Like, I wish I could be like you, where I could be like, yeah, you know what? You did fuck me over. And you don't deserve any part of me, like, at all.
That could be, we can like segue into a different topic outside of validation though, because that doesn't even have anything to do with validation. That more has, I don't even exactly know what it has to do with, but as far as like Dave's question and getting past like what you've gotten past as far as needing validation, I think that you've come a tremendous way.
Yeah. I feel like for myself, it was like the most humbling part of my process was to be able to self-validate myself and be like, I'm proud of me. Regardless of anything else. Because a lot of that too comes from the fact of like, so I have 3 kids, right? I get to see those, one kid I get to see twice a year. And I always thought that like, once I get this much clean time, I'll be able to see them. Once I get to this much clean time, I'll be able to see them.
Yeah,
and
'cause
so
one would think.
Yeah, and I continued to hold on to that. Like, I'm on a billboard now. They'll be able to see me, and like they'll want to reach out to me. Right, my kid's a little, but I'm on a bus now. So like, I always tried to validate it with that. With like the amount of visits that I got was how well I was doing. And that couldn't be furthest from the truth, because that's not the case, right? That's their shit. That's the way it was written. That's what I agreed to. It's unfortunate that it's not like that anymore, but for a long time I did that, and I validated myself with that. Like I measured my success by the amount of times that I could see my kids a year. And like, that is kind of crazy, because I do have a child that I take care of, and I'm a good mom to him, and he can vet for me to say that. And so the other 2 are going to have to just come around, and like, I'm okay with it. Like, I have a lot of acceptance with it. But for a really long time, I think that was the harder part of the validation. Was like, I'm clean. Why am I not good enough to see my kids?
Because that's the only validation that
I
at the end
needed.
of the day matters.
Right.
The
Yeah.
most.
Well, that was because that was one of the biggest reasons why I came into recovery to begin with, was to be a mom. And so when that opportunity was taken away from me, I kind of felt like there's no point. And then somebody always said, I'm going to fuck this up. But there's no wrong reason to do the right thing. I think I said it
I don't
right.
think you fucked it up.
I think I didn't fuck it up. I don't think I did. But it's true. So with that being said, there's no wrong or right reason why you come into recovery. The fact that you came into recovery, the point of it is to turn it around and hopefully do it for yourself. And I know that now is the case. Like, I go to NA for myself, not for anything else, not for DCF, not for probation, not for court, not for any of that, so yeah, it's been a journey for sure.
One hell of a journey. Where are we at?
We're at 50 minutes.
That's a show.
That's a show. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Is there anything you want to talk about, like upcoming events? We have Screamfest this Saturday.
Yeah, we have our alumni event this Saturday at Canopy Lake. We'll be there starting at 3:30. So if you want to join us, come meet us at the gates at 3:30. If you need a ride, just show up at Powell by 2:30, the latest. After 2:30, we're going to bounce from here. And then kickball is Sunday. For anyone who'll be at kickball, we'll have a couple teams there. We'll be there.
That's at Tufts Park in Medford.
Mm-hmm.
Starts at 9.
Anything else?
I don't think
Sober
so.
Bowl, we've already mentioned. We'll keep mentioning Sober Bowl.
Keep mentioning Sober Bowl.
Yeah.
It's always good to keep.
Yeah, new location, because I have a lot of people reaching out to me going, why isn't it Charlestown? I'm like, mind your business.
I know. It's not even that deep. It's just like they didn't save the field for me.
Yeah, that's all right. It's fine.
It's more convenient over here anyway in Revere.
I feel like it is.
Yeah, it's closer to home.
Right. We don't have to drive over that bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't even that bad. It's probably the same distance. Here I go with my geography. Trash. Yeah, Sober Bowl November 8th. Get your teams in. Get your sponsorships in. It'll be a good time. I did a little bit earlier in the season this year, so the weather won't be fucking disrespectful. So
But even with the disrespectful ass weather, though, like, our community shows out.
No, they do.
They really do.
They do.
So.
Even with the semi-pro athletes that everybody fucking hates half the time.
2 divisions, guys. 2 divisions.
2 divisions.
2 divisions for you guys.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's a wrap.
So
Thanks for
good.
having me.
Thanks for coming. You can stop torturing me now.
Okay.